Hello, my name is Steve Olson. I'm the Manager of Training Services for Mesa. In this video, I'd like to take a look at an interesting workflow I just came across the other day when I was dealing with some imported sheet metal parts that wouldn't flatten because they didn't have a uniform thickness. So the scenario was I had a customer that had been bringing a bunch of parts in that had been designed in, I believe, Creo, and basically we were importing them and just flattening them out and bringing them into Inventor. So I'm going to replicate that workflow now. So I'm going to go ahead and open a step file. I actually think they were giving me the native Pro E file. I'm just going to use a step file here. The workflow is going to be the same. So typically what I was doing there is I'd come in here and I'd inspect, measure the distance here of the thickness. I'd capture this. Go to my environments tab here, tell it to convert to sheet metal, go into my sheet metal defaults, and this basically then paste in my thickness that I measured. So typically at that point I'd go ahead and I'd just say create flat pattern, and you're going to see here that it's not going to flatten. And I built this part intentionally this way, so I'm going to undo the flat pattern. And so basically what you would find after doing a bunch of interrogations and measuring is that this wall up here is a little bit different thickness than the rest of it. So how did I go about solving it? Well, my initial thought was, well, let's figure out where that is. So I basically would create a sketch on this end face here and project in either the inside or outer edge, whichever one I viewed as being the critical face or the critical edge. So I'm going to use the outer edge in my case here. In this scenario, I thought, well, if I could then offset that outer edge in a material thickness, that would give me, okay, where I need to be. You can see that this region here is definitely not the right thickness. So my initial thought was, okay, well, I'll just extrude and cut that off. This one is a little bit more drastic, so it's probably I could do that in this case. The one I was working on the other day was such a thin profile. Inventor actually really did have some difficulty. It was like 1/100th of a millimeter or something very small. So what I did in that case here is I ended up going and extruding, but what I did is I extruded this this offset edge as a surface. And here I'm just going to go to a set distance, tell it to go that direction, about 3 inches, just far enough to go through the part. I think when I did mine the other day, I actually went to this face here, but I'm going to go a little bit further so you can see in the video how it's just a surface cutting through the part. Once I had that, I could go to split, tell it to trim the solid, grab this surface as a split tool, tell it which side of the surface to remove. And now that I have that, you can see it's all one uniform thickness. So I'm going to turn the visibility off of my surface. I don't like seeing stuff like that in my part. So now I have that. Now I can go back to my sheet metal tab. I can tell it to create the flat pattern. And it flattens successfully then. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me. And again, thanks for watching.